Okay, we'll be converting decimals to percents, and let's take a look at fractions. Fractions, let's say 10 over 2 actually means 10 divided by 2. And dividing by a whole number makes the number 10 smaller, 5. 8 over 4 is actually 8 divided by 4, which is 2, and it made 8 smaller into 2. 12 divided by 6, 12 now divided by 6 becomes a 2. 10 divided by 5, 10 divided by 5, or sorry, 5 divided by 10, my fault, actually makes the 5 smaller, 10 times smaller. So the decimal for the 5 actually moves over one time. So here's the 5 and its decimal, and it moves back to this spot. So as a result, we get 0.5. 25 over 10 actually means 25 divided by 10. And so we get 25 here. And the decimal goes from here and moves over one time, and that's why we get 2.5. Okay, let's say 5 divided by, or 5 over 100 actually means 5 divided by 100. So you take 5, you divide it by 100, it moves one time, and divide it by another, sorry, it moves 2 times. So we have to add a 0. So the final answer is actually 0.05. Okay, so 25 over 100 is 25 divided by 100. So 25, its decimal moves twice here, and as a result, you'll end up with 0.25, a smaller number than 25, because we're dividing by 100. And 2.5, when divided by 100, will move the decimal over twice, and it becomes even smaller, a 0.025 as a result. So let's use that same process to turn these percentages into fractions, or into percents. Let's see. Oh, this should be percents to decimals. Okay, so 4% actually means 4 over 100. 4 over 100 means 4 divided by 100. Okay, when we're dividing by 100, the 4, the decimal, will become make it 10 times, 100 times smaller. So to move here, that's 10 times smaller. Add a 0, and it goes here. So the final result will be 0.04. And that's turning 4% into a decimal. So next we have 36%, which means 36 over 100. 36 over 100 is actually 36 divided by 100. And when we're dividing by 100, the decimal is going to move twice to make it smaller. It'll move from here to here to here. Okay, so the final answer is 0.36. And I like to add a 0 here in the ones column just to show that there's no ones here. So I like to add that. Okay, next we have 5.02%, which means 5.02 over 100, which is 5.02 divided by 100. Okay, so let's take 5.02 and make it 100 times smaller. So the decimal will move from here to here, and then move from here to here. So the decimal is now there. So this is now 0.0502. And again, I just like the ones to be covered. So I'm going to add an extra 0 right here. It's not wrong if the 0 is not added, but I like adding it, okay, just to show there's no ones. Okay, so we have now 90.9%, which means 90.9 over 100, which is 90.9 divided by 100. And when you divide this by 100, the 90.9 gets smaller. The decimal is here, that's 10 times smaller, and that's 100 times smaller. So we end up with 909 with the decimal here. And again, I'm going to add a 0 right in front just to show that there's no ones. Okay, next we have 0.87%, and let's put that at 0.87 all over 100, which means that this is 0.87 divided by 100. Okay, so let's take 0.87, and when you divide it by 10, you add a 0. You divide it by 100, you add another 0, and so the decimal ends up there. So this is going to be 0.0087, and we're going to add a 0 here to show there's no ones. And lastly, we have 0.901%. that is 0.901 all over 100, which means 0.901 is divided by 100. Okay, to divide that by 100, we're going to take our 0.901 and dividing by 10 adds a 0 here, and divided by 10 again, which is divided by 100. The decimal goes there. And see how much smaller it is? It's now 0.00901. And again, for the ones, I'm going to add a 0 here just to show that there's no ones.